Bobby joins us once again here.
So if you guys remember Irma, right?
Yep.
Irma, the center of the storm went right up the spine of the state. It was either going to start to go on the East Coast or the West Coast or right at the center. It went right at the center. We had the largest evacuation in the state's history, 6.5 million people, because the East Coast thought it was going over them. They left. The West Coast thought it was them. They left, and then it went right up the middle. This is a little bit different. The center, the highest winds, where everybody's focus is really look like now only going to affect that Big Bend up towards Tallahassee area. So there's not as much evacuations going on across the entire state, but in our coastal areas, level A at least, you are asked to evacuate because we could have record storm surge. And I'm telling you, nothing you have seen in 20, 30 years here. All right, and I'm not trying to be scary or anything like that. I'm just trying to say they've done the math. They figured out, like, look, you should evacuate this zone. Please do so if you're asked to. Don't take chances with this storm. Storm surge kills more people in hurricanes than wind, tornado, rain, flooding. It's the storm surge flooding that kills most people. So please just get out of the way. Things will be okay. All right, let's talk to the computer here now. We've got 85-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to come up. We do have some rain in our area right now. Generally, it's been getting weaker as it moves into our area, but that will not be the case as we go through tomorrow. These rain bands you see here, they will get more numerous and they will get heavier and actually move pretty quickly as they move through the day tomorrow. Now, here we go. 110-mile-per-hour winds by tomorrow morning. That's around 8 o'clock in the morning. All right. So this thing at 85 now, 110 by 8 o'clock in the morning. 130 by landfall. That's Cat 4, major hurricane with potentially 20 feet, 15 to 20 foot of storm surge in that area where it makes landfall. That will not likely be in our neck of the woods. Then it goes up, and I'm telling you, this is going to be such a big storm for Atlanta. They would at least have wind gusts in the 70s, which is hurricane strength for the most part there. I don't think they're not going to have sustained winds, but they're going to get wind gusts possibly in the mid 70s to even low 80s. And that is saying something to have that much wind inland. The forecast models at this point, a wobble to the right, a wobble to the left. We'll see a little bit of that. I don't think it's enough that's going to cause us too much pain here in west central Florida. That is the wind, and that wind will actually grow. So that whole area will grow, and that's what produces storm surge. It's the size of that, it's the length of that, how long it's blowing, and it's how much wind is near that core as well, too. And look how close the core gets to us. It stays offshore. That orange you see there is about 60-mile-per-hour winds. The red is hurricane 74 and higher. But you get the idea. There you go. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, the wind now is blowing onshore, and it's honking. I mean, that's when we're going to see our gusts in the 60s and 70s. I think most areas see winds in the 40s and 50s, but gusts will go in the 60s and 70s. And a couple spots near the coast will get 80s, I think, just a couple. And then it goes onshore tomorrow night. So that means the surge 5 to 8 in Pinellas and Hillsborough County. Last year we saw 2 to 4 with the Dahlia. You could add 2+ on top of that. Okay, this is likely to happen. It's not a sure bet. 8 to 12 in Pasco, 10 to 15 when you get up into Citrus County. And I want to show you this real fast. This right here is the forecast for St. Pete. And what you're looking at right here is around, let's say that right there is the tide, expected tide. Here's where we are right now. The tide, that red line where the actual water level is, has been running above that blue line where we should be, well, almost a foot for weeks. The moon, that's been doing that. Now look what the tide does tomorrow morning, 9, 10 a.m. That's 10 p.m., 6, 7 feet. And then through about 2 a.m., and then it starts to come back down around 5 a.m. Friday morning. So the peak surge will be tomorrow night into early Friday morning, but the water will be rising all day tomorrow. It's going, when you wake up, it's not getting any lower until Friday morning. Okay? Now, for the specifics, let's get over to Colleen Campbell. Good morning.
Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, so as Bobby was just mentioning, our top concern here, the main threats, especially for our coastal areas, would be that storm surge, with the timeline being tomorrow night, tomorrow evening. being the peak intensity there, but the water is going to be rising all day, as Bobby just mentioned. So let's go county by county here. Citrus, Hernando, Pasco. Citrus County, we are expecting a little bit of a higher surge, 10 to 15 feet possible, of course 15 feet on the higher end, and then 8 to 12 feet for Pasco and Hernando County. Jumping down to Tampa Bay now, we're looking at 5 to 8 feet for that storm surge. And again, the timeline is about the same. Of course, the southern areas could see the impacts a little bit earlier than areas like Citrus County. Moving down to Sarasota and Manatee County, they have a 4 to 7 foot storm surge possible. But remember, these are also areas that are still in cleanup mode after Debbie. So there's some bruised and vulnerable areas as is. And then if you add storm surge on top of that, 4 foot, yeah, that's not looking too good. So please, if you live in an evacuation zone, make sure you listen to those warnings. Also, our inland areas, you're not out of the clear here. Just because we're not really looking at a surge warning for you guys, we are looking at the impacts of those outer bands where we could get some winds that go a little squirrely at times, and we could get those tornadoes to spawn up, just like we had for Debbie all night long. We were tracking those tornadoes that were coming from those outer bands. So please be aware and know where to go in case a tornado warning would be issued for our friends inland. And a lot of folks will be evacuating to those inland locations. We have seen those outer rain bands start to creep into our area, but of course the biggest impacts are not on the way for at least another couple hours. So we will continue to update you here throughout the show. Courtney?